Sofas from $194. Bar stools from $37.
All right, Shalom. You reached the He Prayed channel, and my name is Isaac Mawaf. First and foremost, I want to say call Halayim, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of 7:13:19, who rule well and where I learned this truth from. Salutations to the Bakiyar, the elect, the 144,000. That's 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. 12 tribes of Israel consist of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and indigenous of America. 144,000 being the governing body within the one-third. The rest of the one-third comprises of elect, men, women, and children. Shalom to those Israelites scattered due to the diaspora and also the triangular trade. So our people will come looking like different ethnicities, having various complexions. So it's not a black thing. We're not the black Hebrew Israelites. We're just Hebrew Israelites. Shalom to those that died in this truth. It says the dead should be raised up first. Those that will be accompanying Yahweh Shah on his return, including our King, King Mashah, who is King David. And as always, it's an honor and privilege, honor and blessing to continue to do this work. The water Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah for answering my prayers and permitting me to do such. Baba Kashah Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah allowed us to be an edifying lesson to at least one member of the elect. So I want to get it started. I'm going to play this clip. This is from the movie The Purge. The first Purge, to be exact, came out in 2018. And this is realistically what's taking place now in various locations within the United States dealing with ICE. And it's going to escalate to the point in which you see in these different apocalyptic movies. And in this clip, I'm about to show you. So without further ado,
they'll be coming through this door. They're gonna have on body armor. I'm gonna shoot low, their legs. Isaiah, you jump in and finish them off with a knife. Aim for the neck above the armor.
No, who the fuck was your old boyfriend?
Everybody else in the closet.
No. We're in this together.
No matter what happens, you stay in that closet. For Selena. Go. Go.
I'm not getting in no closet. I'm staying out here with you. Go. Yo, this is my fucking fight too. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Like the wall. To the left. Bring it up. All to the left. Be on right. Get back! Pull the strap.
so hopefully YouTube don't put a strike on the video, but that's very a realistic scenario in which it's taking place. So I wanted to play this second clip. It's entitled Ice Cold Truth. Vic Mensa, who is a rapper on ICE raids in Chicago, says they marking homes like Nazi Germany. And what you saw also in the first Purge clip is them going door to door, wearing those different masks, and some of those masks were blackface. You know, you know, if you saw it in the beginning, because these troops, let me see if I can. These troops that are coming in have been, itching for this day to take you jakes out, man. Now, this was published, it looks like, in April 2007. And, my memory from me being entrenched in conspiracy and other things led me back to this. And it reads German army depicted blacks as target practice. A German army instructor has been shown on television ordering a soldier to fire his machine gun while imagining he was in the Bronx facing hostile African Americans. You know, because a lot of those ICE agents, how do you know they're not Interpol? And the United States, they have a major base in Germany, and Germany is also a part of NATO, which is the beast. So they have that relationship to send troops to Chicago in the guise of being an ICE federal agent. You know, it says in New York, the Bronx borough president demanded an apology from the German military and said the clip on German television indicates that bias and assumptions and racism is alive and well around the world. Coming after scandals involving photos of German soldiers posing with skulls in Afghanistan and the abuse of recruits by instructors, the video seemed likely to raise more questions about training practices in Germany's conscript army. It says the defense ministry said the video was shot in July 2006 at barracks in the northern town of Rendsburg and that the army had been aware of it since January. We are currently investigating the incident, an army spokesman said. The clip shows an instructor and a soldier in camouflage uniforms in the forest. The instructor tells the soldier, "You are in the Bronx. A black van is stopping in front of you. 3 African Americans are getting out and they are insulting your mother. Act." The soldier fires his machine gun several times and yells a obscenity several times in English. It says the Bronx Borough President Adolfo Carrion Jr. said whoever was responsible for the video should be disciplined. We need to put to rest the prejudices and the hate that is allowed to be perpetrated so easily and cheaply, Mr. Carrion said. The Reverend Al Sharpton, the civil rights activist, said he was outraged that Germans were depicting blacks as target practice. I think this is an incredibly racist kind of insult to African Americans, and it speaks to the kind of institutional racism that people think we are hallucinating about, he said. Now, this was in 2007, which the incident was shot in July 2006. Maybe it's it might be the same movie, The First Purge. You know, same thing. Exactly. And then they have the Nazi shoulder strap. So going back to the interview with Vic Mensa.
I visited the apartment building that ICE raided in Chicago. Yo, they was on some Nazi shit. They were marking people homes who they were gonna target. That's something I've seen in another police state that I've visited personally, which I won't say, but it rhymes with Calvin Klein. I'm gonna tell you why this is just an extension of the Civil War late-stage Confederacy lost cause narrative. In 2023, Texas Governor Greg Abbott literally sent these Venezuelan immigrants to Chicago on a bus in the middle of the fucking winter. We were giving them food and clothing because they showed up in flip-flops and t-shirts. 2 years later, Texas National Guard is in Chicago with ICE to capture the Venezuelan immigrants that they already had because they sent them here. And they're using that as an opportunity to attack black people and democratic cities in general. That's like robbing a motherfucker and helping them find what you stole. Or better yet, police planting drugs on a nigga to arrest him. Like sprinkle some PCP on that nigga. Now I see a lot of you motherfuckers still drinking the Kool-Aid of racial division. Oh, it was just Venezuelan gang members. It's us versus them. Don't take my word for it. Listen to the black victims of the Chicago ICE raids in their own words.
They was bringing the kids out too, had them zip tied to each other. It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face.
All right, look, let's go back to the Civil War because that's what this is. Civil War was a scheme of economic opportunism dressed up in the guise of an ideological culture war. Slave owners wanted to keep their free labor, so they made it about Southern values, racism, but it's about money for real. Right now, the same motherfuckers building, owning, and operating the ICE detention centers own the American private prisons, Core Civic and Geo Group. They maxed out contributions to Trump's campaign, and they're making billions from this, bruh. If you're black still doing the anti-immigrant thing, you're literally falling into the exact trap of a multinational corporation that benefits from the incarceration and exploitation of you. They would be happy to welcome you into one of their facilities. One of the most heartbreaking things to me about the experience was seeing that the inhumane, run-down building that ICE raided in South Shore, Chicago, had schools on both sides of it. There were kids outside with book bags when I went there. And that's what these kids are being taught, is that they're criminals in the eyes of their government. If you want to read what I wrote about this for the New York Times, drop a comment. I'll send you a link to the article in a DM. Because this ain't no motherfucking time to be ignorant drinking the Kool-Aid, man. Be informed. Because these niggas think you sweet.
Now that kind of seemed a little AI-ish, if you ask me. But nonetheless, what was said, hit the nail on the head, right? So going to co-pilot, the point is in verse 8. It says, Yahweh's wrath against nations, right? And you could say that 2/3 of our people are a nation of themselves, you know, because they're also the bullseye of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah's wrath. This is Isaiah chapter 34, verse 1. It says, Come near, ye nations, you so-called white people, Asians, East Indians, Africans, so on and so forth, to hear and hearken, ye people, let the earth hear and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. And how are you to hear? By listening to the prophets, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and all the men with that exact 100% doctrine. For the indignation of Yahweh, because it's in all caps, is upon all nations. And how is he going to facilitate that? By sending his son and the angels. His son is named Yahweh Shai. And his fury upon all their armies. And that's why he's mustering the host to the battle. He's gathering these nations to fight in World War III as we speak. He hath utterly destroyed them. So this is speaking in foreshadowing, He hath delivered them to the slaughter. So all these nations' armies are going to be destroyed, whether they believe it or find it conceivable, if that's the word. It says they're slaying all those military men, and the collateral damage, which is you people, you civilians, also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, because that's going to be putrid, you know, especially if you ever smelt a dead body. It's like rotten meat. you know it says it has a very distinct smell. It says, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved because of the nuclear destruction, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their host shall fall down, as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a fallen fig from the fig tree, which is those missiles. And host meaning armies. Those missiles are army of themselves, and the army of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. For my sword, which is the nuclear missiles or the ICBMs, and now they have hypersonics and even more deadlier technology. It says, shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, which Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom. It says, and upon the people of my curse to judgment, which is the Edomites, you so-called white people, and also 2/3 of the nation of Israel, dealing with you so-called blacks, Latinos, and indigenous. It says the sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, which this is symbolic of all you people, with the fat of the kidneys of rams, for Yahweh have a sacrifice. So the sacrifice, right, in Basra. Basra was the chief capital of Edom, which now is symbolic of America. So there's going to be a great sacrifice here in America. It says, in a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, in the land of Edom, right? It says, and the unicorns shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance and the year of recompenses, paybacks for the controversy of Zion, you know? So we're in these final moments, man. And, this all corresponds to with Jacob's trouble. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 5. And, these Jakes out here, man, they're still in La La Land, man. They don't have a clue about what's about to happen to them, man. They should be in fear right now, man. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 5. For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. And that's counter. That's a counter to all you false prophets that speak of peace and prosperity, man, and make comments stating that Jacob's trouble is going to be a walk in the park. It says, ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Yeah, does a man give birth? Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, right? As in fear, like a woman, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Yeah, because you people are going to be in fear, man, in these times. It says, at last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. And Jacob is you Israelites, And it says that this day is great, that none is like it. So they're going to start killing you as they already have and just slaughtering you Jakes out here, man. That's fit the description. It says, but he, and the he is the Jacob of the Most High, the Israel of the Most High, which is the elect, shall be saved out of it. So the elect are going to be saved out of it via what the world eerily calls UFOs, the chariots of Israel. This is what is it? Numbers of name. This is says Yahweh is awesome. This is Nahum chapter 1, verse 1. The burden of Nineveh, and Nineveh is also equated to modern day America. The book of the vision of Nahum the Echoshite. Most High is jealous, and Yahweh revengeth. Yahweh revengeth, and is furious. And what is he mad about? What you done to his people, man? Dealing with you so-called Edomites. And what you're about to do. It says Yahweh will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. Yahweh is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. And the wicked is you so-called white people, man. So you're not going to get away. You're not getting away scot-free for all the things that you've done, all the blood that you've shed. It says Yahweh will have his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. Also dealing with destruction and dealing with uh, his ships. So going to Isaiah chapter 10. Also, Assyria is equated to Esau. This is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 5. O Assyrian, the rod of my anger, because we know the wicked is Esau, right? And the wicked is his sword. A rod also is something that you would use to bash over the head of someone, right? And the staff in their hand is mine indignation. I will send him against a hypocritical nation. Now, this is the 2/3 of the nation of Israel that he's sending these Assyrians, or today being these Edomites in America, you know, to you blacks, Latinos, and indigenous, man, who have rejected the word. It says, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil. He's going to be emptying out of your houses, emptying your valuables, spoiling you, taking your woman, and to take the prey, putting you in concentration camps, and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. They're going to be shooting you niggas down, man, mowing you niggas down, using those microwave weapons to melt buses and cars and vehicles, sound wave weapons. You know, the cruel Lord, Donald Trump, he's already sitting the military on you Israelites that are wicked. You know? Okay. So let me go to Second Ezra 15. Which all these prophetic scriptures, are being hit in rapid succession, man. 20 and 27. This is Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 20. It says, behold, said the Most High, will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east and Lebanese, to turn themselves one against another, and repay the things that they have done to them. The them is the Israelites, them being turned against one another. Going back to Psalms, the 83rd chapter, they're going to go out the same way as the Midianites. So the Most High is mustering these armies for World War III, and within World War III, the Battle of Armageddon, the Mountain of Troops, to destroy them all on behalf of the elect of the nation of Israel. Verse 21, like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also and recompense in their bosom. Thus saith Yahweh, my right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon earth. Right, so there's going to be a lot of destruction, man, a lot of death. The fire has gone forth from his wrath and have consumed the foundations of the earth, and the sinners, like the straw that is kindled, whether it be nuclear or the lasers from the chariots. It says, woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, saith Yahweh Shai. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power, defile not my sanctuary. For Yahweh Shai knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction. So, when you go out on your day to day, especially if you live in an area where it's a lot of jake, you have to have the understanding that they're going to disappear soon, and good for them, Verse 27, it says, for now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For the Most High shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. And that's dealing with 2/3 of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and indigenous who have rejected Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai that was spoken to you all these years on the street corners by the mouth of his prophets, specifically and I won't say only, but specifically those with the doctrine of Great Millstone. So next scripture, Wisdom of Solomon 12:23 through 27. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 12, verse 23. It says, wherefore, whereas men have lived dissolutely and unrighteously, thou hast tormented them with their own abominations. For they went astray very far in the ways of error. And that's our people, especially, when you consider these different religions, and especially that madness from Christianity, they err and held them for gods, which even amongst the beasts of their enemies were despised, being deceived as children of no understanding. Therefore, unto them, as the children without the use of reason, thou didst send a judgment to mock them. And remember in Proverbs, the first chapter, he said he's going to mock when your fear cometh. But they that would not be reformed by that correction, wherein he dallied with them, shall feel a judgment worthy of the Most High. For look, for what things they grudged when they were punished, that is, for them whom they thought to be gods, now being punished in them, when they saw it, they acknowledged him to be the true power, whom before they denied to know, and therefore came extreme damnation upon them, which that's going to be that nuclear fire for all you that didn't believe, man. This is the book of Baruch. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 2, verse 1. It says, therefore, Yahweh Shai had made good his word, which he pronounced against us. and against our judges that judged Israel, and against our kings, and against our princes, and against the men of Israel and Judah, to bring upon us great plagues, such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it came to pass in Jerusalem according to the things that were written in the law of Moses, that a man should eat the flesh of his own son and the flesh of his own daughter. Right. And when those grocery store shelves are empty and there's no food, after the first week, man, people are going to start. Well, I wouldn't even say that, man. I'll say after a couple of days, people are going to start losing it, man. And they probably going to start eating their children within the first week. It says, moreover, he have delivered them to be in subjection to all the kingdoms that are round about us, to be a reproach. So we're a reproach to the kingdoms, these other nations that we were delivered to, and desolation among the people round about where Yahweh Shai have scattered them. Thus we were cast down and not exalted, because we have sinned against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, our power, and have not been obedient unto his voice. Our people do everything contrary to the law, statutes, and commandments, and they act like it's the cool thing to do, not knowing that there's going to be consequence, and that consequence is you being left in America to be burnt up, or you might die before then. Or if you die before then, you might be raised up just to taste the fire from the nuclear missiles. It says, to Yahweh our power pertaineth righteousness, but unto us and to our fathers open shame, as appeareth this day. For all these plagues are come upon us, which Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua hath pronounced against us. Yet have we not prayed, begged, right, before Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, we might turn everyone from the imaginations of his wicked heart. So one of the things I always tell people to do is pray, on the highways and hedges, and, give them plant that seed in their mind. First thing I tell them to do is pray onto those names. Pray to Yahweh while Yahweh Shah to open your mind to know him, right? Wherefore Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua watched over us for evil, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua have brought it upon us. So it's the Most High that's bringing Esau and his ICE agents and his military and his police to destroy you blacks, Latinos, and indigenous, man, for being disobedient unto him. It says, for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is righteous in all his works, which he have commanded us. Right. And you can't be in no type of disagreement, man, with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, because it's all about what he wants to do. It's about his will, whether it be good or evil. Let his will be done, not ours. And his will right now is to, just like 2,000 years ago, when the armies compassed Jerusalem, before it destroyed it. And that's what's going on right now. So with that, I hope at least one brother of the elect was edified. And I'm going to say, Shalom.